Today we open body, mind, and spirit to welcome the Advent gift of peace, building on that gift of faith that we opened to last Sunday. We allow peace to be in our hearts, into our minds, and into our spirits. You know the song, I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. True story. I was going to sing that song for you today, and when I was at home practicing, every time I started to sing, Elliot barked. I took that as a sign that maybe I should just speak the words. I have found a place of peace, of quiet contemplation, amazing peace. I visited a couple of times, and I plan to go again. It's a cabin that I rent in the Smoky Mountains on Cherokee Reservation land along the Oconaluftee River. I will tell you that the first time I met the Oconaluftee River, peaceful was not a word that came to mind. As I drove, it rained the entire drive there, and the rain was massive and heavy. And it rained all day and all night, thunder and lightning and torrential downpours. And I couldn't see the river through the darkness, but when I awoke the next morning, the river was swollen and raging. It was angry feeling almost. And the rains had pummeled the area all night. It was really impressive. The following morning, it receded a bit, and the next day, a little bit more. And in time, it was a quiet, slower moving, peaceful river. I walked along the river in those days that followed the storm, and I could feel the power and the essence of the people who had walked the land, who had worked the land, who had lived there throughout the ages. It was a very powerful presence that I could feel. The Oconaluftee River flows, and my cabin rests a little further up the hill. So fortunately, there's an ample back porch equipped with rocking chairs, so I can continue my rocking chair practice as I meditate. It's peaceful, it's restful. The view is exquisite, and occasionally there's an eagle that lands in the tree in front of me to share meditation time together. I found a place of peace to which I can return, just as the raging river returned to its quiet, gentle peacefulness. So last month, I introduced Elliot to the Oconaluftee, and they are now fast friends. Elliot insisted, as only a dog can, that we walk the river banks every day, and I went along happily and gladly. And what I observed in nature and what I see in my own lived experiences is that peace is not a constant. I don't always feel peaceful. The world doesn't feel peaceful any more than the river was peaceful when I first met it. Peace, like all the other emotions and state of beings, have an ebb and a flow, a coming and a going. I rest in peace, and I may experience some upset to that peace, and then I return to peace again. I'm grounded in faith, which brings me a sense of peacefulness. And I see the headlines. I feel anger. I hear the sound bites, and I feel the rage flowing, and I feel triggered by what I see and hear. And then I sit, and I step into my practices. And the reason they call it a practice is because we have to do it over and over and over again. So I pray. I pray for my world. I pray for myself to not be judging, not be condemning, not to be looking at the other. I use my denials and affirmations, never saying that this experience isn't happening, that what I see isn't happening, but that isn't the truth of me or of the world, and I use my affirmations to state what it is that I believe as true. I'm beginning with those unity principles that no matter what appears to be happening in my world, the presence of the divine is there. I believe that. I sit in meditation, quietly listening for the inspiration. I live to the best of my ability, mindfully, aware of what thoughts have snuck into my mind, what words are falling out of my mouth, and what actions. And I practice silence. And then I return again to peace. My peaceful mind and heart are restored. For me, peace is a place that I return to. It's a place where I feel safe. It feels like home. And when I see what I perceive as injustice, I feel the feelings, and I take my actions. I write my legislators, I call them, and I share my opinions and my thoughts, and I return to peace. When I see what looks like inequity to my eyes, I feel the upset. I do what is mine to do, and I return to that peaceful feeling, knowing that I have done what I'm supposed to do, what I'm called to do, and I can then be peaceful again. When I observe abuse, I feel the rage. And I remember the vow I made many, many, many years ago, not on my watch. And I intervene. I speak truth, and then I return to peace. To me, it seems like this world is sure to draw us away from our inner peace, almost as if it was the sole purpose of the world is to take away our peace, to drag us down, to sink us. A minute on social media, a little time with a newspaper, a nanosecond of scrolling, and an ever so brief conversation with so-and-so, and you all have that person in our lives, and bam, our peacefulness is gone. We've let it go. We've relinquished it. And we always have the ability to return to that peace that surpasses the understanding of the world. You know, we hear that in Scripture, the peace that passes understanding, the peace that takes us beyond having to make sense of what's happening in the world and restores us anyway. So this month, the practice that I came to in the month of December in my treasured little book by Richard Rohr, Just This, well, I laughed when I turned to the practice. The month of December, the practice for me is silence. And I really did laugh because I do spend time in silence, more than some, but not as much as the monks and the brothers of the abbeys. And that's where you'll find me most Mondays, sitting in silence. And at least one time a year, I make a trek to a monastery for a week long of silence. It's a spiritual practice that always calls me to more silence, But the month of December, my busiest month of the year, really? Practice silence? I have special services to prepare with all of you. I have social engagements with friends. I have family visiting. More silence? Really? Of course, I live with my animals, and so I do have plenty of time for quiet and contemplation. And if I let go of those Christmas movies on Netflix, I can have even more time for silence. And if I make a concerted effort to live truly mindfully in my own home, I do have much more time for silence. And there is more. I can find places like the Akanalufti River, my Abbey of Gethsemane, or even my own backyard, which I have made into my personal sanctuary. I can go to all of those places and find a sense of peacefulness. A nice walk in the woods will do it every time. But the message that is plain and clear to me in this gift of the practice of silence in the month of December reminds me that peace is not a geographic location. It's not a place that I have to pack up and travel to or even walk out my back door. This peace is the peace that is amidst the noise and confusion of the world. The peace that I can feel while walking in the hustle and bustle of the holidays. The peace that I can live in the excitement and activities of my family gatherings. The peace that transcends anything that the world presents to me, or to you, or to any of us. Peace is that deep well of silence within me that calls me to be mindful of my thoughts, to notice quickly when that judgment, that othering, oh, them or they, any of those thoughts to remind me quickly. Peace comes when I remember to be a good steward of my words. My words, your words matter. They have an energetic vibration to them that goes out into the ethers. And that's what we place into our world. So if I'm criticizing and judging, that's what I'm contributing to what I call the chaos already. I'm adding more to that. When I live in that sense of peacefulness from that place of love, which we all are, I contribute something different. I shift the energy. Living in peacefulness calls me to be a good guardian of my actions. When that car cuts me off, I don't always have to use sign language. I don't have to honk the horn. I don't have to shout. Peace is that deep silence within me that calls me into communion with my source, into union with the holy. So to engage these gifts of Advent through the eyes and the ears and the heart of silence, the silence of hope, the silence of peace, the silence of joy, which we have yet to talk about, and the silence of love. I don't know how this month is going to go, practicing more silence, but I'm going to give it my best. I'm willing and I'm open and I'm ready to adventure into a new depth, a new understanding of peace through silence. Not running away from the world, not running away from what the news tells me is happening in my world, but stepping into it. Stepping into it and taking that peace with me into the messiness, into the conflict, into the chaotic, taking that peace along with me. So while we are here in the midst of preparing for the birth of Jesus the Christ, I want to jump ahead a few years to words that Jesus shares with his disciples. He's preparing his disciples for his departure from their presence. And he concludes all that he tells them with this: peace I leave you, my peace I give you. I do not give you as the world gives, so don't let your hearts be troubled, and don't be afraid. In this season of Advent, where are the places that your heart is troubled? Where are the spaces that stir fear, cause you to feel afraid? Truth is, we may find momentary peace in the world. This amazing and beautiful guitar playing had me in total peace. I didn't want it to end. We might find a season of peace in another, in a relationship that's fulfilling, in work that we do. We may go to places and feel peace. But the truth is, the only lasting, enduring, unending peace is cultivated within. It's in us. Somebody said it this morning in the Sunday school time. Peace, it's innate. It's innate in us. We have that ability to be peaceful. It's the gift of nurturing a deep and abiding relationship with the divine. We come to peace. It's the peace that carries us through the distractions of the world, that we can walk through the troubles, the suffering, the pain, everything that we see around us, that which we're experiencing in our own lives. We can walk through it with that peace that passes understanding. So this season of Advent, which invites us to birth and to rebirth and transformation, when we move from what is established in our lives as the habits, the rituals, the celebrations, the behaviors, and transform that. And as we are transformed, we might lose our sense of peacefulness because we have shifted the paradigm. We have disrupted the status quo. We have upset the habits of our life. Even if the transformation is one that we have sought after, asked for, and were delighted with. Even if the transformation is magnificent to our human mind, the automatic is to resist. It's that ego mind, to resist that change. Our peacefulness might be temporarily upset, but our spirit is transformed, and we can settle again into peacefulness with appreciation for the growth. One of my very early Unity ministers, my mentor, I'll leave it at that. He would always say, another blessed growth opportunity, or another blessed growth opportunity. Depending on the lesson and the situation, the emphasis changed. But they are growth opportunities. So my wish for you at Christmas is this: that you stand in your faith to trust the disruption of what is, so that the Christ consciousness might be reborn fuller and deeper and even more meaningful as an expression of you. I pray that you will be willing, like the shepherds in that Christmas story, startled by the invitation of the angels, yet were willing to leave their flock in their field, to leave their place of comfort, and confidence to move away from all of that to what is being born. I pray that you are willing to open your minds and willing to feel startled by the call and know that that's okay, and to be moved away from what we cling to for comfort. And that the Advent gift of peace brings you back to peace over and over again with every growth, every change, every shift, every transformation. May the gift of peace rest exquisitely in your heart. And may the gift of peace be in all of your doing and all of your being. And established in faith, resting in peace, we can then live into 1 Corinthians 16:14. Let's say it together. Let all you do be done with love. Namaste.